Hi, buddy out there.
You guys should use your
Kinda
other
see me.
hand to wave, yeah.
Nah, that's dumb.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. How's world?
How is everyone? Welcome to Post Credits,
Yeah.
our show
Yeah.
we do on Saturdays.
Turning us up a little bit,
Yeah.
that's all.
No problem, no problem.
Making sure everybody can be heard, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on this show we talk about stuff we did over the week before we play some video games. Still going up, apparently.
Yeah, Dry doing his little adjustments here and there, which it happens. It's a live show. We're gonna
Jiraiya wanting
make
us to
corrections.
sound good.
Well, I mean, that one video that Robbie sent me is like, hey, your shit sounds bad. Here's how you fix it.
I mean, it's more or less like just give you tips. It's not telling you that it sounds bad.
It
No, I
definitely
heard
said
him.
it's why does my video sound bad at the start? But so
He does start the video with, "Hey, your sound sucks."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just talk about stuff we watched over the week. Usually Jiraiya.
Yeah.
He watches the most out of all of us.
Actually, the last couple weeks I haven't been watching that much, and then like this week I just watched all of it. Everything. I consumed it all.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
teeth were he got better teeth and that let him watch.
Yeah, that's how you watch things with better teeth.
Yeah.
Secret to watch more. Teeth better.
Watch more, make teeth better. That's how it works.
That sounds like an AI generated YouTube video.
Watch more, teeth better.
Yeah.
That sounds like a slogan that like Spike would have, like, watch more, eat better, better teeth.
Better teeth,
That
better
does sound like something
ingredients,
Spike would
Papa
do.
John's.
Better teeth, better ingredients, Papa John. Okay, I'll accept it. So yeah, post credits, we're doing a thing. I'll start off, I guess, real quick.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
have like I have to bring up my list because it's a whole list of things that I've been watching.
There's 50 items on the list.
I said I wasn't sure if I was going to bring this up or not to E, so I'm like not to add it, but I'm just going to talk about it real quick. A million little things.
Sad boys.
Sad bros, as I like to call it. Just ended its season 4 with 20 episodes. Literally every single season of the 4 seasons has been a different episode count. So
They did 420.
they did 420 on this one apparently. Tackling like a lot of subjects that I think they're maybe not
Equipped to tackle.
equipped to tackle. Some of them, sure. Some of them, no. Like one of the ones I think they've been doing okay with is cancer. That's been like since day one.
Sam says, awful show.
She watched one episode. She's like, it's the most melodrama thing, which I'm not going to try and like say that it's not that
See,
thing.
that makes it funny because you told me the reason you hate most anime is because they're melodramatic.
I know.
And like you said, that's why you weren't that into Squid Game too.
I know, man. A light just fell behind me.
Hooray!
I grabbed it before I died.
Oh, good.
I mean, I used my psychic powers. That's me in the middle there.
Yeah,
I used my
that's
psychic
totally E right here, being a good little
powers. Yeah.
There we go.
dino cat.
It's all better now.
Yeah, Sam says it was terrible. Yeah, like that's why you said you hate anime. So it's just
I know.
funny.
I know.
It's very different kinds of melodrama, I suppose. That or he's like ironically watching it.
It started off with irony, and now I just kind of like the show.
That's the issue with irony. You start really liking things.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of like how in like 2005 when everybody started saying bling bling to make fun of it.
Bling, bling. I said pop pop because I think it was probably making fun of that, but it was from Community.
Yeah.
There's a character called Pop Pop, and literally his only line is pop pop. Just fun. So
I don't know. I just know like there were a lot of streamers who like ironically would say like pog and stuff, and then they just started actually saying pog.
"Oh, that's poggers, guys." Yeah.
yeah, no, not me. No.
No, I can't do it. Like I don't like how pog sounds.
Yeah. So like yeah,
I think
super melodrama. The cancer thing, it's doing like pretty well. It tried to tackle transgender issues in like 4 episodes.
Hmm.
And it was pretty heavy-handed, like even more so than most of the time. So, some things it handles better than others. I don't think it like did it distastefully. I just think like
It could have done it
like,
better.
yeah, I was gonna say like how heavy-handed was it? Was like PSA level heavy-handed?
yeah,
Okay.
like the dad's like I don't know this person at all anymore. Like this isn't my daughter, or this isn't my son. This is my daughter. I learned this person to be my daughter. Rah, rah. And the person's like, but he is your daughter. But you gotta love him.
They say he is your daughter.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. It's super. It's a whole thing, man.
Yeah, you go ahead.
It's if they were gonna try and tackle this, they needed this needs to be a seasoned character plot line,
that sounds
and definitely
more.
wasn't. They also went into this. This is how one of the characters' ways is to cure their depression is to teach. That's their purpose in life now. And so they're I cured my depression with
by pulling up my bootstraps.
kind of actually. But yeah, it's a super melodrama. My favorite character probably die. There's going to be at the minimum.
Are they the one with cancer?
Yeah, there's 2 characters with cancer. They both have breast cancer. That's how they met. But one of them, it's been you don't think he has cancer throughout this whole thing, because there's a cancer scare, and then it turns out the big thing is but he does, and he's not telling anybody.
And Breaking Bad.
And then they find out, and it's a whole. This is he's probably gonna die. That's how the show's probably gonna end. Is he's gonna be dead?
Sam has a question. I don't know if you'll know the answer. Did they get an actual trans person to play the trans character?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they did. Which was good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the effort was there. It's just it seems like they didn't have enough time, honestly.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, my favorite character. He also plays my favorite character in a show called Psych. Yeah, that's neither here nor there. He's just a very charming person. Yeah, huge giant cliffhanger of cancer, but kind of thing.
Right.
It's gonna get one more season, but that's not airing until next year, so it's not even coming back in the fall. And I'm guessing it's gonna be a pretty truncated season because their ratings dropped a lot.
I forget. Is this a Netflix show?
ABC.
Okay, I was gonna say if it's the Netflix show, you might have to hedge your bets.
Yeah, no, it's ABC. They already said it was very last minute. Literally, the last episode came out. I guess we'll give them another season. So yeah, one more season. I'm guessing it's gonna be pretty truncated, and it's probably gonna be the last one.
Okay.
Other things that I watched: Blind Spotting. I brought it up in our main show a little bit. Told everybody to watch it. The Blind Spotting show on Stars. It's good. There's nothing more to say about it besides that. It's incredible. The ending of the season is just heartbreaking in every single way possible. And it's a very honest look at the system and how it is made to keep you down once you have been arrested. His entire thing is to make sure you never get free.
Right.
So yeah, very hard one right there to watch actually. But yeah, definitely the Blind Spotting show. Go watch it. It is all canon. It is technically a sequel to the movie. Super good. Highly recommend it. The only downfall, you have to get stars.
It feels so weird to me. He's saying it's canon.
Right, yeah.
It's a weird.
But I mean, there's a lot of spin-offs that are it's a spin-off, but we never bring it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's non-canonical to the movies, so don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
The first 4 seasons of Frasier doesn't even bring up that it doesn't bring any of the characters from Cheers in until season 4 or something like that. It's stuff like that. That's
yeah.
This is
Does
very
that make
much,
it non-canon though?
It makes it to where it's pretty disposable as being part of that universe. I would
Sure.
say. Whereas I think the Blind Spotting show is very much in it's part of this universe. No question about it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like this is 6 months later from the movie, is what you're saying.
A bit later than that. I think it's a year later or something.
But yeah, you get what I mean though. It's a reasonable continuation of the story.
Yeah, and of some of the characters and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Go watch that for sure. This next one I'm not going to talk about too much because I 100% want to bring Sam and you, Robbie, to go and see this movie in theaters. Men.
I would totally be down to watch that movie.
Now that we're men, we can do anything.
Oh, I was going a different direction. Men, we're men in tights. You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't seen Robin Hood.
Yeah, it's a great movie. But yes, Men. It even if you watch the trailer, I don't think you know what this movie's about.
It's pretty ambiguous on what's actually going on in the trailer, so
I sure hope it's about men.
Yes. It's as simple and complicated as that. It's just weird way to put it, but yeah. I loved it.
Yeah.
I think I loved it. I think I also kind of didn't like it in a way.
It's it's a good storyline, but it's uncomfortable.
I wouldn't even say it's uncomfortable. It was really fun going and reading the user reviews the next day because I kind of I knew exactly what I was going to be reading, and boom, right there. It's you know that there's just an audience that this movie is not for immediately.
And they definitely went and watched it because it's just named Men.
Well, there's some of the user reviews are I went to this movie because I saw the trailers, and when I saw the A24 logo popped up, I knew I was in for a bad time. And like that's kind of the opposite of where I am with horror movies. So
I mean, I'm on the same boat as you. Like, if it's A24, I think I'm gonna like it.
There's a good chance that it will at least be well produced.
Sam's saying she does want to watch it.
Yeah.
And she wants to say it's about toxic masculinity, but I also don't know.
I would say, Sam, if at all possible, please go into this movie as blind as possible.
Do not look at a single man before you watch it.
Please. Well, that's just generally. Don't look at men. They suck. But yeah, it's really good. I don't want to say too much without spoiling it. There's some extremely gruesome stuff in this. That is like my jaw dropped in a couple of spots, which was fun, you know. But
had to scramble to pick it back up.
No, I knew exactly where it went. I just left it there. It was just. I don't think it's. I don't deserve to put that back on my face.
Lord.
And then one that is recommended to me by a coworker. It is out of nowhere. It's called The Sadness.
Okay.
It is based on a graphic novel called The Crossed, and it is a Canadian director directing Taiwanese people from a graphic novel adaptation. It's very weird. It's all spoken in Taiwanese. I want to say this language. I'm if that's offensive, I'm really sorry.
I think they speak Chinese.
Chinese? I don't know. I
think Taiwanese is a thing.
Let me check.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Keep going.
I'm trying not to be offensive, but I just don't know stuff.
I mean, I think calling Taiwanese people Chinese is probably offensive. Like, that's a whole thing. I think Taiwanese and Taiwan and China have been like in fighting since the 50s, I think.
You got everything there, E?
I'm still looking.
Okay. I just don't want to be like an asshole and be like saying stuff that's completely wrong.
Mandarin Chinese is the official language of Taiwan, according to Google.
Okay, so they're probably speaking Mandarin Chinese then. But it's a Canadian filmmaker.
Okay.
Which is weird. I don't know anything about him. I didn't look him up at all. But that's not the point. The point is it was recommended to me because it was new. It was on Shudder. I have Shudder right now. And he was like, I've been looking for a super gory, just disgusting thing. Pardon me. I'm gonna watch this tonight. You should check it out. And I was like, yeah, sure. I had no intention of checking it out.
Wow. Wow.
And then he watched it and he's like, there are many times in this where I thought about turning it off because it was too much. And I was like, okay, well, now I have to watch it.
Should I just start that whenever I want you to actually watch something that I'm talking about, that I just have to be like, man, I was watching Kid Cosmic and like episode 4, I was like, I had to turn it off because it was like so much for me.
Probably, actually. So yeah, I watched it. It's very gory. To the point to where it's actually hilarious in a lot of ways.
Okay, so kind of movie that Peter Jackson did?
Yep, except it's not trying to be hilarious.
Okay.
I just found it hilarious from how ridiculous it was. Like, it's past anime levels of gore. Somebody gets stabbed in the neck and like it almost floods a fucking train. I'm not even kidding. It's ridiculous.
I always thought that'd be kind of funny in a movie, but like kind of in a way like they're poking fun at it. Like someone gets shot and like there's bleeding out everywhere, and like someone's having a conversation while this person's screaming and like flopping around in the background. Someone just says like, should we like help them? They're fine.
Straight face. The whole thing. Straight face. The whole point of it is that. So here's the actual concept of the movie. There is a virus.
Okay. That
once you get it,
you explode.
No. Every single baser instinct in you comes out. So it brings out the worst parts of your baser instincts, anger, murder, sexuality, that kind of stuff. So once people get it, and it depends on the people, it can take 2 minutes or a few hours for it to take effect once you've caught it, depending on how fucked up you are already. If you're super, super fucked up, I started reading lore about it.
It starts making you good.
No, if you're super fucked up, it just doesn't affect you.
Oh.
Like, if you're already a sociopath, it just doesn't matter.
Okay. So you can actually weed out who's sociopaths in the world.
Except for the thing, it's super, super transmissible. Extremely transmissible. The entire town is taken over in, like, moments because of how insane this thing is.
Uh-huh.
But there's tons of just extreme gore. Like, the first gory thing you see, like, the first kill, is someone comes into, like, a restaurant, like an old lady, and she grabs the fryer, throws all the grease on the dude's face, and rubs her hands down his face and all the skin just crawls off. That's the first kill in the whole movie.
Okay.
That's tame compared to the rest of it, honestly.
I'm almost getting like, I know it's not like the goriest movie ever, but I was gonna say I'm almost getting like 28 Days Later.
It's much gorier.
Okay.
Much gorier.
But
than that.
also like with like the virus, because like, you know, and 28 Days Later, it's rage-filled monkeys.
This isn't necessarily rage. It's they are taking joy in the fact that they are no longer mentally stopped by doing this thing.
Yeah,
like
it's a virus that takes away their morality, basically.
Kind of, yeah. Like if they've always wanted to kill, they'll kill. If they wanted to rape, they'll rape. That kind of thing. It's that kind of movie, and maybe I'm a bad person. I came out of it thinking like, yeah, I guess that was a lot of gore and stuff, but like it's not anything special, I don't think. Like if you're like seriously needing a new gory movie to check out,
right?
I think this has some creative kills, and there's also like a ton of sexual assault kind of stuff in there and stuff like that. But that's probably the most shocking parts of it, is because they really go really far into a lot of that stuff.
Right. And honestly, with like that premise in the movie, it almost seems like, how can we make the most violent movie possible?
That's the entire point of it.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for that, that's kind of the thing. It's not something you would give to somebody if you don't even know if they like horror. If they're like, I like this horror and this horror, like, no, this is like a very specific audience that really, really wants a gory movie. Like if your favorite moment in cinema was the last 20 minutes of the new Evil Dead, like this is gonna be the movie for you.
Okay. That gives me a better idea of like how gory this movie is if you say the last 20 minutes of the new Evil Dead.
It's that, honestly.
Okay.
Then real quick, I'm just going to run down this last one. Chippendale. The new Chippendale on...
Chippendale.
Rescue Rangers. Chippendale. Yeah, anyway. It is John Mulaney and what's his name from Lonely Island? Main guy. Also star of Hot Rod.
I know you're talking about.
Yes. Andy Samberg, yes. Yeah. They voice Chip and Dale, respectfully, and it is Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but with Chip and Dale.
Interesting.
Like it has the whole. There's like jokes about CG and animation, and I don't want to ruin a bunch of things. But yeah, there's
also a vat that just kills cartoons.
No, that's
essentially
okay.
But I think actually more creative than that. I think the way the villain kills people in this, or not even kills people, like makes them suffer, is way more fun and creative in just like a Hollywood kind of way. I really loved this movie, honestly. I like really loved it.
I was really surprised when I said I didn't feel like watching it.
Yeah, because like it's just such an animation nerd thing. Like there's so many animation nods towards like everything, and it's not just Disney. They go Nickelodeon and all like everything, every kind of animation, Cartoon Network. They go like a ton of WB stuff.
Okay.
Video games, everything. Like
Dry informed me they don't have one of the best cartoons though. Dave the Barbarian. He couldn't find him.
I did not spot Dave the Barbarian, but there's a lot of huge group shots in there, so it's very possible that there is Dave the Barbarian, but I didn't see him. To be fair, I did not see him.
Could mean he's too obscure to put in like weird obscure cartoons.
Yeah, maybe. It's super, super fun. It honestly feels like watching a PG Lonely Island movie.
Okay.
So if you really liked Hot Rod and the Pop Star, then
I haven't seen the Pop Star yet. I did really like Hot Rod though.
Yeah, if like you're into that kind of humor,
Hot Rod's fun.
Then you're gonna.
So if you like Lonely Island,
yeah, it's super funny. Honestly, it's directed by Keeve Schaefer, who is part of Lonely Island. So it's very, very Lonely Island.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah,
I think that would actually be up my alley.
I think you would like it.
Okay,
I think you would really like it.
I'll watch it in like 3 years probably.
It's super fun. It really is. It's just lighthearted, fun little thing. But yeah, that's all I got, guys.
Okay. I don't have a whole lot. I've been animating a lot, which means documentary time for the most part.
Is that what that means?
For me.
Oh.
I don't know if you had a chance to watch it yet, Jirai. If not, I probably won't say much. I watched the new Defunctland this week.
What was that one on?
Garfield.
No, I saw it. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, I won't say much then. It's like very funny, honestly.
Okay.
Is what I would say. Like, it's like obviously it's history, but this one's more like it's such an absurd thing that happened with it that
happened with Garfield.
Specifically this ride.
Because it's like a night ride, right?
Yeah,
or
Garfield.
A dark ride.
Yeah, it's like a It's a tunnel of love, but a horror Garfield.
Nice.
So
Is that the reason why Garfield's now an eldritch horror to the internet?
no, that's just because it's funny to like ruin very mundane things. Because I'm gonna say, all things considered, Garfield's like a fairly whatever thing.
Yeah.
The comics in particular, like I think the cartoons give more to Garfield, but the comics are very bog standard, like Mickey, like Disney Mickey Mouse kind of thing.
I
would
read
say.
a lot of the comics as a kid.
To be fair, a lot of those comics, because I also read a lot of those comics growing up, I feel like a lot of them can boil down to, I hate Mondays. Make me lasagna.
Absolutely, it does.
They're very similar. In fact, I would wager if you just like get a AI generator to just randomize the first, second, and third panels, it'd probably be about as funny as the actual comics are,
Yeah.
if not more funny for the absurdity that would happen.
Yeah, I would bet. Actually,
Um,
I would pay money to see.
I know there's a couple like gimmick accounts that will like replace the third panel in particular with like certain ones. Like there's one comic where Garfield's just thrown out a window, so there's a Twitter dedicated entirely to just changing every ending of the comics to Garfield being thrown out a window,
Oh,
which is really funny because Garfield makes fun of John a lot.
yeah.
So it'll be like Garfield makes fun of John, John looks at him, and then it's just the shot of Garfield being chucked out a window.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, I won't say much about it then, since you haven't seen it. I watched a couple of documentaries about VR chat in particular, actually.
Like just the VR chat,
Like the
one-
community.
Yeah, I was going to say, the
basically.
community of VR chat is fucking wild.
Yeah,
Huh.
so the first one was more just like an overview, and like, because, Facebook's being like, oh, we'll make metaverse and yada yada, and they were like, metaverse kind of already exists, and
Yeah.
it's not ruled by capitalism.
Well, let's fix that.
That's kind of what Facebook's doing. And it was just kind of about how like interesting it like prospered because of it, how like it grew into such a thing, kind of like the branching of Second Life into this, but this has a weirdly more intimate feeling to it since it's in VR. And there was a lot of cool stuff like that. They didn't shy away. The guy who was there was like, yeah, the first time I joined, I was talking to an American, because he's British. He was like, I was talking to an American about something. Then a guy who had the model of a chimpanzee started coming in and saying slurs, and we had to leave to a different world.
Yeah, that's
VR,
VR, chat.
chat.
Like,
Huh.
there's that. I know, like, one of the big troll, like, the whole Ugandan Knuckles, that's how that meme originated, was in VR chat.
in
Well,
VR
no,
chat.
it was a. So I actually follow the artist who drew the original thing. He just did it for a Sonic review. He was reviewing Lost World, and then they just took that.
Yeah, but I was gonna say,
that's
isn't like the whole like do you know the way?
Yeah,
thing?
that
like that
that
whole,
like kind of came from that.
yeah. Like there's that. I remember I've seen a couple of videos online where like they had a model of that. I think it was a Nick show, Corey in the House.
That was
That's
a show.
Disney.
Yeah.
It's Disney, but yeah.
Well,
it's a
yeah, I was
show.
gonna say like the house is just the face of Corey, and then like if you go inside of the house, it's just playing the theme song of it. But like the person just is the house, so it's just like a house that's just like sliding
Like you
along.
say, the house in Corey in the House, it's the White House. It's not just a house.
Well, I'm saying in VR chat,
Yeah.
it's just like a house that's made out of his face.
Yeah.
Wait, is that what the house is in Cory in the House?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's in the White House. His dad works for the president. He's the president's chef.
Oh,
It's like you didn't even watch Corey in the House, Jiraiya.
wait, but that's still like the same Cory from That's So Raven?
yeah. Raven's in like 2 episodes of it.
Huh.
Speaking of spin-offs where it's barely conceivable that they're related to the story in the original in any way.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So you just thought it was like a completely unrelated Corey who happened to be the same child star.
No, I just thought it was like Cory in the House, but like it's only Cory, but like the same thing, like but he's the
No.
star. I thought it was like just a sitcom, but still just
No, it's Corey
in the White
living
House.
in the White House.
Huh.
Basically none of the future stuff that makes That's So Raven really interesting.
Huh. So it's just boring.
Kind of.
Cool. Okay.
It's like there's a reason it's memed on so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was, and they were just kind of talking about how like it's really interesting how everything kind of built itself on the foundation, and like, like with VR, they make their own like worlds and stuff that you can visit. And he was like, you would think that it would be like a fantasy thing or something as like the most popular world to visit. It isn't. It's just a like comfy little house.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's like if you're like hanging out in like a weird world, you want to like go and explore that entire world. Like if you're just talking to people, like, oh, you just want to be in a house.
yeah. So like it was like nice, and like he talked to the creator of that world, and he's like, he's like, yeah, like it's funny because people will be like, you'll get these like these like giant models or like these really burly sounding dudes who will come and request that he builds a pillow fort for them. And it's like really interesting though. So it's like,
Huh.
yeah. And then I watched a second documentary from a different person recommended in the first documentary.
Oh.
VR chat, gender identity, and why everyone on VR chat is an anime girl.
Huh. That's a long
There
title.
are a lot of anime girls in
Yeah.
VR chat.
So like
Okay.
it also kind of delves into a lot of stuff about VR chat, and then it goes to the thing because like in VR chat, most of the people's models are like female models,
Okay.
regardless. And you talk to people, and like there were some people who always like, oh, you know, like I just would prefer seeing a female model if I saw myself, or like saying they were doing it ironically. But there were a lot of people who just said stuff like, yeah, I just want to look cute. And like most of them were male.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, so like, and it was a thing of like talking about kind of how society ends up like perceiving male stuff, and like just like how when you kind of remove all the veils of society, you get people who just like deep down just want to be a cute anime girl. And
I
it's
wouldn't say I've personally ever had that thought.
no, I'm not saying every single
Yeah,
person,
yeah.
but like that was a large percent of people, and like a really like one like a really like kind of eye-opening thing is like there were a lot of trans people who said VR chat was like the first time they realized, because like, you know, with a lot of trans people, they feel very uncomfortable in their own body, and in VR chat you're in first person, so they saw themselves in these bodies of like a different gender, and they realized like this is the first time they truly felt like themselves.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That'd be
So-
such a weird experience.
Yeah, it was, but like that was the start of a lot of people transitioning after that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it was like a really interesting piece about just like gender identity and what it like really means. Cause like they brought up a thing where like in most games you always are looking at the character, so it makes sense you just want something visually pleasing. But in
guess.
VR chat, for all intents and purposes, you are that character. Because you're viewing in first person. If there's ever a mirror, that's you. It replicates what you're doing. In VR chat, there's a thing where you basically will just acknowledge someone as whatever avatar they are and just call them by their name. And like, just a lot of stuff like that. And there was a funny line someone said is like, VR chat's a weird experience because it'll be the first time someone will call you by your preferred pronouns, and they'll do it to call you a slur. So it's like one of those things. But yeah, it was honestly really interesting. And like, again, that's more like stuff I am interested. I don't know if like you guys would find it as interesting as I did, but like, it was like a really interesting, they were a really interesting pair of documentaries.
It's the kind of thing of like, maybe I'm privileged in that sense, because like even playing video games, like I don't think about it at all.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that even like comes into my mind, honestly. And like I know I'm definitely the outlier there, because most people I talk to are like in any kind of video game, in any kind of sense, cosmetics are like kind of a huge part of it. Like they want their character to look cool, or to like look cute, or look pretty, or look like a badass or something like that. But like I just like playing a video game. And like so like that just never even comes to my mind.
Well,
and,
I
like,
think in some cases it's kind of the type of video games you play though. Like let's take me. I love Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And expression's kind of the biggest part about Animal Crossing. Like like I would say basically half the items are clothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like there's that. And like in a similar thing, it was kind of interesting because I thought about me, like when I was younger, I would only make characters that were my same gender if I ever had like the option to make a character. But as I got older, I was much more comfortable making female characters for that reason of it would just be nice to like have like dress up. Like that just sounds nice. It's nice to like have this character and they're cute.
Yes, I've never even like had that thought concept.
Yeah.
Even like in any kind of game where like I think it probably does have to do with like the kind of games that I'm into and the kind of games that like interest me.
Mm-hmm.
Because even in like shooters or platformers stuff like that, like I'm never actually looking at my character. I'm always looking at like where my character will be going.
Right.
Like I don't ever pay attention to my character, which maybe that's just like I've been playing games for too long kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Also-
know. Like, I think it's just like a mental thing because, like, I definitely put a lot of focus on characters and stuff like platformers personally. But,
Yeah.
but like, it's not like a weird thing. In game dev, we are taught this like octagonal diagram. That's like the stuff that's important to gamers, and like you can sort gamers differently on the diagram. There's one of the axes is expression, or like the one to like customize and stuff. So like for you, that would be very low on the priority.
Yeah.
You wouldn't care about expressing yourself. You just want like gameplay essentially.
I want it to feel good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in a weird middle ground with that because like a good example of that would be I guess my two examples that I've been thinking about while you're explaining this was Mass Effect and really enough Def Jam Fight for New York.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the Mass Effect series, like I know like the whole idea is like you are Shepard is like supposed to be part of the whole thing, which is why it's like so heavily customizable with like making your character in that game. I would just default Shepard the entire time.
I think I put like a scar on his face, but like yeah, besides
Just
that,
super
default
default.
Shepard.
Yeah.
It was super default. I even had John as his name for it.
John Shepard.
Yeah, that's a default name is John Shepard. But like a game like Def Jam Fight for New York, you can customize your character, and they do it in a very creative way in that one because like the game, like, you know, Def Jam Fight for New York starts off with you know, the guy who is the main bad guy in the first one is getting taken away by the cops.
Sure.
And then their car gets hit by an SUV, and the suspect, you know, carries out the guy, or the main bad guy, like, you know, saving him from the cops. And the cop basically says, like, yeah, the car came out of nowhere. It's like, well, just go ahead and give me your best detail of the subject. And you creating your character at the beginning of the game is like just sketching out what the suspect looked like, and whatever the sketch ends up being, that's your character.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then
really
there's
clever.
that, and then like you can do things like you can buy clothes for him, and you can buy jewelry and haircuts and tattoos and all this other stuff. But because in a weird way it was like a reward system in that game, because like you didn't just have it all right away. You had to earn it. You had to like do fights. You had to do certain things in order to like unlock clothing and unlock tattoos and unlock hairstyles and unlock jewelry.
Yeah.
And so it became like a reward system. So like it started off with like kind of almost like a default. He kind of looks like me a little bit. And by the end of it, he was just covered in tattoos and jewelry and had blue dreadlocks. And
Oh yeah, just like you.
yeah, exactly like me.
Just like Robin.
But like I think that's kind of goes to like the whole customization of it too, of like whether like you are that character or not.
Yeah.
I think because like there have been times if I find it fun to create the character, I'll try to make him a little bit more like me, or make him like, oh, it makes sense of like he was this kind of character, and kind of role play as like something else. But I guess it just kind of counts on what kind of character creator it is, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to go about it, and like there's a lot of things with character creators I never thought of like that like really resonated with me. Like again, back to Animal Crossing. In every Animal Crossing before this new one, your character was always like very light skinned. And the newest one, you can actually change your skin tone, and that's one of those things like just felt so much better to see a character with darker skin than like the lightest light.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. I think that's what I mean by like, I think I'm just privileged of like, that's not something I've ever had. Even like an issue. Like if I want to make someone in the game look like me, like it's just, that stuff's like there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty basic, white looking dude.
Yeah, because that's the thing a lot of black people online I've seen complain about is like they basically can't make themselves in a lot of video games because
Yeah.
the options
Yeah.
are just not there.
Yeah. True. It's honestly true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a bunch of weird documentaries that I watched.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you have? I know you didn't say you had much, Robbie. Did you?
I mean, it's mostly just like stuff I've watched on YouTube this week. Like I was talking about on the main show, like I feel like I just did more this week instead of like actually sat down and watched things. Like I bought a new guitar. I kind of got into a fight with the vending machine at one point in time.
I should make a game about that.
Fighting a vending
Robbie
machine
versus the vending machine. Your trials specifically.
Okay.
I kind of like the idea of like
A VR. That'd be a fun VR game.
I think RPG would be really fun. Of like, it's your last dollar and you're at a vending machine. You spend it and the thing gets stuck, and so you end up going on this huge giant quest to try and get enough money to get that thing unstuck. Or like to get it unstuck in some sort of way.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, considering the story I told you guys, it might just be like a little arcade game where you kick the door, in whatever direction you kick the door, it like goes towards another thing that you can knock down in the vending machine, and like the whole goal is just empty the vending machine at the end of it.
But Robbie, could you imagine if it was Jiraiya's and like you do the entire quest and like you try to get a second thing and that gets stuck too? And then an NPC walks up, you like, oh my god, and then they kick the vending machine and both fall out. And then
This
it's
entire
just credits.
RPG to like at the very end you kill God for $1 basically.
Yeah. And then it's just, oh, hang on, I know a trick.
that would be great. I
That
would
would-
love that.
That would actually be pretty funny.
God.
That sort of reminds me of this old Flash game called 7 Deadly Sins, and like has a super basic premise of like you're at a bar and a guy tells like, bet you can't commit all 7 deadly sins in a fortnight. Oh, you're on. And like the whole entire thing is like you have to try to commit all 7 deadly sins. And at the very end of the game, if you can complete all the 7 deadly sins before day 14, you go back to the guy at the bar and he was just like, congratulations, you did all 7 deadly sins. Your reward. And then he turns into the devil and goes, eternal damnation. And like the end of the game is just like you being tortured in hell. And then like if you fail at doing all 7 deadly sins, you go to heaven at the end of the game, and God's like, congratulations, you are a soul pure enough to go to heaven.
You
And then-
resisted temptation.
Yeah, you resisted temptation. Then like your character goes like, yeah, I'm only going to heaven because I failed, and God goes, yeah, that's how most of us get here.
Oh my, that is amazing setup for that.
Yeah,
Good.
it's actually a pretty good Flash game too. Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, like, God, it would. I don't even know how I would find that game now.
You said it's just called 7 Deadly Sins?
Yeah, 7 Deadly Sins. It's an old Flash game. Like,
Yeah.
this was back in like 2006, 2007.
So, if I remember when I get back, I have a program called Flashpoint that has just archived as many Flash anything they could possibly get.
I mean, this is also back before like DMCA was like a huge thing because it does have actual like copyrighted songs in it.
Oh yeah, it's like almost all the things on Flashpoint do
Okay,
too.
good. I wasn't
Flashpoint
sure if that
does-
was a thing or not.
No, the only like if like a company came and actually told them to take it down, they probably would end up having to. But
Yeah.
like, the only like times they've taken stuff off of it is if the person who like created themselves were like, "Hey, I don't want that out there anymore. Can you please take it off?"
Oh.
Which like the main ones was PopCap had like Flash versions of their games that you could play on their website back in the day.
Oh.
And they asked for those to be taken off because they were making their own version that you could buy to play.
Of course.
Yeah. So yeah.
Of course.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, I'll check it. I'll try to find it then. 7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
It was pretty fun.
I'll just bring Flashpoint one day and we just get around
I'd
the
be
computer
totally-
and play Flash games for 4 hours.
I'd totally be down for that.
Yeah. I'd be cool with it.
We'd have to remember all the Flash games, but yeah.
I mean, there's a backlog of like Flash games that I remember as a kid that we could probably find, but
I mean, most of mine were on the Cartoon Network website, honestly.
that one didn't work very well for me. Like we had to
Really?
go to some other weird websites to play our Flash games as kids.
True.
I usually did Newgrounds, Cartoon Network, or I would look up like Stickman Flash game on
Yeah.
Google and go to like the fourth result.
Stick Page was definitely one that we went to as a kid.
Yeah.
Dragon Games was another one, which is like an archive of a bunch of Flash games.
Mini Clip was pretty popular.
Mini Clip was pretty
Mini Clip.
popular.
Uh,
OneMoreLevel.com was another one that was
Yeah.
pretty good.
I think this might have been after you guys probably played Flash games. I know Cool Math Games had a
Never
ton.
heard of that one.
That
That
was
one-
like when I was in middle school and high school. It came out.
Yeah, that's way past my time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there was definitely a bunch of like weird Flash sites that we went to like play games as kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flash was great as honestly like basically phone games replaced what Flash games were
Oh, yeah,
for us.
definitely.
But like
Pretty much.
Flash was such a magical thing, especially because like it was early internet, so DMCA wasn't very common.
Yeah.
Like-
I mean, another one I can actually see you liking just because it's like a weird little balance game and it has a odd sense of humor. I think it's called Drunk Clunk. And like the entire idea of the game is it's 3 minutes left until closing time, and you have to drink as much as you possibly can before closing time, and you have to keep balance. Like, and so like you're moving your cursor back and forth to keep your guy balanced on his chair, and each time that you drink, like it gets more unbalanced.
That sounds fun.
That's a mini game in Red Dead Redemption 2.
It's a full Flash game.
Oh, the guy who made that Flash game should sue him.
Oh,
It'd be funny if he ended up going and working for Rockstar. He's
That
just like,
happens way more often than you think. Because, like, I think I told you, Super Flash Bros were pretty big Flash people in the day, and they made snipper clips.
huh. Zipper Clips is great.
Yeah, and
That's
of course,
super
I
fun.
played
yeah,
that one.
snipper clips is amazing. Oh wait, you haven't played it, Robbie?
No.
We should bring that.
Okay.
Yeah. That'd be super fun
Yeah.
to play.
Yeah.
I was gonna say also the funny thing about Drunk Clunk is at the end of that game you leave the bar like if you fall off your chair more than 3 times,
You get
then
kicked out.
yeah, you get kicked out basically, and it's game over. But if you don't get kicked out by the end of the 3 minutes, you leave the bar super drunk, get in your car, wrap yourself around a pole, and it just says "Don't drink and drive, kids."
So no winning. No winning.
Yeah.
That, man, I loved Flash for that reason too. Like, what other game would be like that experience for 5 minutes and then just leave you on a super awful note at the
Yeah.
end?
It's definitely a Flash game that do something like that. I think probably one of the cooler ones that I've seen is it's a game called You Only Live Once, and like it's just a platformer game.
Oh yeah, I played that one.
Yeah, that one, if you die in that game, you're just done. It plays the last scene, and then it shows like it like kind of does like, because I actually killed myself like early on in the game just like to see like what would happen, and it's basically like the police come and arrest Bowser for someone dying in his castle, and then like Princess Peach is like dying or is crying at his funeral, and then it just like shows his headstone. If you reload the page, it's just still the headstone. You only get one chance to play that game. If you try reloading it up, like you can come back the next day, and it's still just the headstone.
Yeah.
You
Sitting
have to
right
like
there.
delete the cache.
You
or
have to
something.
delete
Yeah, you have to
cookies.
delete your cache off of your computer in order to play it again.
It's just a fun idea. Like, I loved Flash for so many reasons, and that was one of like that's such a fun idea though. Like, obviously
Yeah.
that's not a game you would want to buy, but like
Yeah.
that's such a fun idea to like play for an hour.
It's actually something that Hideo Kojima said that he wanted to do. He wanted to create a game that you would play through it, and then if you fail,
It deletes your disc or
it
whatever.
deletes all the data on the disc.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I would-
fucking, that would be awful.
No, I would hate to play it. If he releases that for free,
Yeah.
sure.
And yeah, that's the thing about You Only Live Once. It's a free Flash game, so
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it works that
yeah,
way.
exactly. I think with something like that, the only way that I would like, if I was a game designer, I would implement something like that. Is if you had some of those like hardcore Dark Souls players like, oh, this game's super easy. I can't believe they made a game for kids. And like, okay, here's a super hardcore mode. You die once, then your game's just over.
Yeah. It bricks your video game.
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
die.
It bricks your game, and it tracks your IP address, so you just can't play it anymore.
It tracks your IP address, so I can personally come over and kick your ass.
Fucking asshole. Fuck you. This game's not for kids. Asshole.
Talk shit about my game.
But yeah, honestly, yeah. Maybe I will just bring Flashpoint one day, and we could just kind of have a trip back in time.
Oh yeah, that
That'd
would
be
be
fun.
a huge nostalgia for me and Dry for sure.
I mean, all of us really. The Flash is one of the unifying things for us.
There was one Flash game. I don't remember what it was even called, but it was like kind of a tower defense, but you're like a dude that's just like fight zombies behind a barrier.
I actually have that on my Steam. Last Stand.
Last Stand. That was
Yeah.
fun.
They made a legacy edition of it, which is the original 3 Flash games.
Nice.
And I bought that just because like I'm super down for them like remaking Flash games and putting them on like Steam and stuff like that, so the creators can actually make money. That one actually is on my Steam account. We could play that one of these streams.
It was super fun.
But he basically put that on there because he made like an actual 3-dimensional Last Stand game. It's kind of like a I want to say like 2D isometric thing where like you're trying to collect resources and stuff like that. I need to get that one still.
Yeah.
Those were fun games.
Yeah.
That is somewhat common actually to like for Flash creators to find a way to have their
Monetize?
game
Oh.
like have their game put on Steam, because Flash players are very uncommon nowadays.
Right.
Yeah.
So like they look for a way to actually make it run through Steam itself and put it on. And some like a big one, I don't know if either of you guys played the Henry Stickmin games. They just released
Yeah.
a bundle of like all 5 of their games that you can buy.
I think I played one of them.
That's all you really need. If you play one, you kind of play them all.
Yeah. And that one's just like a choose your own adventure kind of thing.
Yeah. A very fun little thing. Another one. it's called like Mitosa. They released that one for free because that one's just honestly like a visual experience. Like if we do Flash, I would bring that one just for you guys to like see what the heck that one is because it's just trippy.
Okay.
I want to make somebody play Flower one day. It's not like a good game,
people and their standards for good video games.
but it was like just a 6-axis like motion control thing on PlayStation.
I think I remember watching you play that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
think I
fun. It's
saw a
pretty.
little bit about it. Yeah.
It's a pretty little game. It's like an hour or something like that. Hour and a half maybe.
Yeah.
Dumb little thing.
So yeah, we'll have to take a note. We should all like write down like
Yeah, we need-
5 Flash games we each want to play again,
Yeah.
and then we can have a Flash Saturday.
We have to call it Flash Saturday though.
Yeah.
Flash Saturday and not Flash Meet Saturday.
Well, I mean,
I mostly joke because there are a lot of people who do Flash Friday. It'd just be really funny, just Flash Saturday. But it is about an hour since we started. Anything anyone wants to get out now?
how you guys doing?
Doing pretty all right. I mean, after this, like, I'm probably just gonna go put strings on my new guitar and play on that for a bit.
Yeah.
Sam says she'd play Flower and enjoy it.
Yeah, Sam would probably like Flower. That seems like
I probably would too. It sounds like a fun experience.
It's super chill. So you're a flower petal and there's wind, and you collect other flower petals. That's all you do. and at the end, it's like don't kill the trees or whatever. Who gives a shit? Anyway,
Save the environment.
Whatever.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we have like a little bit of time here.
Yeah.
I've been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Oh, how's that?
It's good for anybody not in the know. Tiny Tina's Wonderland is a Borderlands spin-off. Uses the Borderlands 3 engine, from what I can tell.
Oh, that's probably why Borderlands 3 is free on Epic right now.
It's very possible. That game's been out for a couple months, though. I'm barely getting to it. A couple months barely, I'm saying. But Borderlands is a series I enjoy greatly.
Except for the writing, you say usually?
Yeah, the writing. I honestly pretty much mute the voiceover.
Except for Pro ZD, you said? That's the good part of it?
He was the good part, but he was only in 3. He was one
Oh.
character in 3.
Okay.
The writing in this one is more fun. I'm gonna fix my auxiliary cable because it's like caught between stuff and it's all weird and rolling. It's bothering me, so I'm just not gonna be.
I'll continue for you. So
I can still talk.
The game's very fun. You play as the titular Tiny, running around at the speed of sound with places to go.
No, Tiny Tina.
Gotta follow your rainbow.
Tiny Tina is possibly the most obnoxious video game character ever created.
It's pretty
That's
bold
a
statement.
tall order. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of annoying characters.
There are, but there are 3 voiceover characters happening while you play this game because the setup is Tiny Tina is hosting a Bunkers and Badasses, which is just their Dungeons and Dragons for their world.
Yeah.
Hosting a Bunkers and Badasses game, and character voiced by Andy Samberg is there, and a character voiced by prolific black actress is there. I can't remember her name. That feels awful. I have to look it up here in a second.
Oprah Winfrey. She's not an actress.
Oprah Winfrey is an actress, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
She does act, or occasionally.
She's been in some movies.
Yeah, she has. The Color Purple. I think she was.
Whoopi Goldberg?
No, Oprah Winfrey.
No.
Oh, yeah, Oprah Winfrey was in there. So
Yeah.
was Whoopi Goldberg. I thought you were saying, like, the actress is in there.
No, I forget the name of the
I'll look
actress
it up.
anymore.
I'll look it
up. And then the Tiny Tina character is in there, and you're playing that. But the reason I like it is because it like changes up a lot of the formula. Actually,
Wanda Skies?
Wanda Sykes.
Sykes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Wanda Sykes. And they're just voiceover doing jokes while you're playing that, and like it's the overworld is not you driving around in a car anymore. It's a top-down. You're on a Dungeons and Dragons board.
Oh.
And there's like little dungeons and stuff that happen in there, and there are random battles if you walk in tall grass. And it like just sends you into like a little arena thing that you fight things in.
Pokemon.
A little bit. And like all the fighting is still first person and stuff like that, but all the guns are like medieval themed and they shoot arrows instead.
It's kind of funny.
Instead of grenades, you have spells, which like feel like spells actually. It like just puts like a whole new skin on it, and it's super fun. And I actually really enjoy the overworld.
So what it sounds like, this might be Borderlands for people like me who hate guns.
Yeah, I mean, there's still guns in there,
Yeah.
but yeah, basically. It's super fun and like silly, actually. I really like it a lot more. And I really don't like the open world stuff in Borderlands. That's my least favorite part.
Yeah.
So the fact that this one's just like, here's like a little overworld with puzzles, and you get quests, and you like go and walk into a dungeon, and then it's a first person game again.
What a weird like concept.
Yeah.
Seems very not AAA.
Yeah, they did the entire thing in quarantine. So they started it in 2020, and then it came out this year. Pretty quick turnaround, actually. And it's the only Borderlands thing that Randy Pitchford has had nothing to do with, which maybe says a lot of why it's the best one.
Uh-oh. Hot takes with Deright. No, I don't think anyone really
Nobody likes Randy Pitchford, honestly. Did you say nobody likes Borderlands?
Like the story.
There's people out there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But Randy Pitchford is a garbage human being who just sort of sucks in every general sense. He is the head of Gearbox Software.
Okay.
He's just a garbage person.
And they can't kick him out.
They can't, because he owns it. He also does magic.
Like real life?
The Gathering?
No, like magic shows. He's a magician.
I was like, what? He just knows how to do spells or what?
Yeah, he just, like, every now and again, he's like, Avacadabra.
It's like, oh, you want to raise, huh? How about I raise you into a cliff?
Yeah, kind of that, but also, like, just keeps...
What do you mean, kind of that?
Well, he sort of, like, did stealing money from Sega thing. Like, because they also did Aliens Colonial Marines. Gearbox did.
Yeah.
And they gave them a bunch of money. Like, hey, do Aliens Colonial Marines. Here's all this money. And then he
didn't tell his workers.
Supposedly, allegedly, I should say, he allegedly took all the money that Sega gave him to do Colonial Marines and put it into Borderlands 2. And then put a B team, maybe a C team, on Colonial Marines, which is why that game turned out to be so much garbage. And why the coding was so bad on it that years later, I think it was like last year or the year before, someone just went through the code and like changed a typo, and now the AI works.
So don't give this guy money, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, because he also sort of did this thing to where like he had extreme businesses, like a game and like business knowledge and the company knowledge on a thumb drive that he left at medieval times that also had like a ton of porn on it. And then
company secrets.
And then his assistant sued him. Because his assistant also stole like millions and millions of dollars from him, and then his assistant sued him, and he sued his assistant. And then his assistant tried saying there was child porn on there, and he's like, it's not child porn, they're barely 18. And then apparently he goes around the office showing people videos of squirting. It's like he's a garbage person. He's not a good person.
God.
Like straight up just a bad human being.
It kind of sucks that like when it comes to a lot of these like bigger AAA companies, like the CEOs are always just garbage people. It seems like.
Damn, it's like they're put in positions where it's very, very difficult to actually like do anything to take them out of the position.
Yeah.
It's almost like that.
Yeah.
Good thing it's not like that though, because that'd be awful.
I mean, things are getting better. Like these stuff are being brought to light.
They are.
That's
they are
the
being brought
important
to
part.
light, which is
Well, like,
important.
CEO of Activision. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Let's not even say his name. He doesn't deserve to have a name.
Sure. We'll just say that. I think it's kind of funny that like the meme for a little while is that Microsoft bought them out and was just like, I'll pay you $76 billion to fuck off.
It's a shame he gets that money. Like that's the
I don't think
part
he's
that
getting
pisses me off.
So that's the thing. They bought the company. They didn't buy him. They bought the company and they fired him.
Jiraiya probably knows.
Jiraiya does know. He is being kept under the company until further notice. If it goes through, which the purchase will most likely go through. He is getting a huge payout. Huge payout because it's a giant deal.
Yeah.
And everybody on the board, which he is on, gets a huge chunk of money. That's part of the buyout. Is they're being bought out. Literally. Here's a bunch of money that we're giving you to give us this thing.
Yeah.
It is a literal buyout. He owns quite a bit of the stock. He's making hand over fist.
I mean, he's making hand over fist money anyways. Like that was one of the big things is that he was the most well-paid CEO in general, like not even just of video games, just like in general, the highest paid CEO, period.
Yeah.
So he was already a billionaire.
Yeah. He's making a ton of money off of this. Even if they get rid of him afterwards, he'll be set. His children will be set. His grandchildren and their children will be set, and never have to work a day in their life.
Yeah.
That's how much money he's making off of this deal.
I mean, he's making that much money to begin with, but I do get that he's making money off of it. But it's basically them just saying, like, yeah, I'm giving you this money to fuck off.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
The other thing is that Microsoft also has a ton of assault allegations going on right now, which aren't being talked about.
Because Activision's kind of the punching bag.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in the industry in general.
Yeah.
A studio that had voted to unionize, Activision is actively not noticing the union on a legal standpoint. So they're not treating them like a union at all. And they are going out of their way to offer different positions to them within the company, or quit or firing them to get rid of anybody who voted for union within any of the rules that they can do. Yeah. So they're being real awful still. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Coincidentally, they just released a thing that everyone else could make fun of instead of the allegations. Not even allegations; those are just things they're doing. Yeah,
it's a thing that happened.
They coincidentally released how they develop characters that same week. It's crazy.
Yeah, which is also everybody involved is like, this is awful.
Yeah,
this is really bad. It's a.
I don't know. Have you seen that thing, Ravi?
No, I haven't.
Basically, they have a a graph that has stat points to different diversities.
Mm-hmm. Here's our character sheet for diversity.
And it's just one of those it's like a hexagon where each point is 5 points at the ends. And it's race, age, sexuality is one of them. Yeah. And it'll be oh, Tracer 3 on sexuality. It's
it's weird.
It is weird, and everyone was memeing that, and then people are hey, also they're union busting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They also have this app out that is company-wide that is designed for union busting as well. It's a
thing.
It's an oofta for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things it's such an oofta that people actually kind of forgot about Ubisoft for a little while, and they're also a garbage company.
There are also tons of sexual assault allegations there as well.
Yeah.
Most major companies are having a lot of issues with that.
Yeah, it turns out that company's bad.
Yeah.
Turns out.
I mean, I've worked for one major company, and Dryad heard me complain about it so much. I think he doesn't even want to pick up a power drill at this point.
I don't want to pick up a power drill anyway. That's just I'm lazy. I didn't want to do that beforehand, but then you told me all that, and I'm like, oh, power drill.
Screw everything that Robbie does
as a job.
I'll
do it by hand now.
Yeah, doing it by hand with a screwdriver. That's how I drill.
But no, because I complained about that one job enough that Dry was just wow, I would never want to do your job in any way, shape, or form.
I stand by that. Your job sucks.
Your job sucks, and I don't know if you actually make that much more than I do.
Probably not. I do actually enjoy doing my job. I just hate working for certain companies.
You also get paid kind of in equal to what you're providing.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. You do not get paid enough for what you do.
That's arguable.
Robbie,
for a
start
lot
a
of
union for you. I'm starting a Robbie union right now.
Specifically for Robbie. No one else. Me and Jiraiya are Robbie's union now.
Yeah. We're your union rep.
We're going to be hey.
Every single time I go to a job interview, just you yelling at the interviewer, pay him what he's worth!
Give him 70! And a free pizza every month.
Twice a month, actually.
Yeah.
Fucking assholes.
Make sure the pizza rolls don't get stuck in the vending machine.
I can only kick so many doors.
Sam says, speaking of Jorb, my first day of Jorb is tomorrow morning.
Oh.
Zafun says 70, a free pizza, and a soda.
Ooh.
Yes, see, we're already working for you here, Robbie.
Progress, people, progress.
We will need 80% of what you make, though.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we did take a vote, and that was the result.
It's a 2-1 vote right now, so I'm kind of outvoted on this.
But I think that's post-credits.
Yeah.
We're going to, it's an hour there, so we're going to drop the stream down. It's going to say, stream not there anymore.
Starting soon.
I assure you, we're gonna be coming back up with stream. And we're gonna be playing some video games.
Yeah.
All right, instead of talking about stuff, we're gonna be
So-
playing video games and talking about stuff.
Yeah. Don't go
But we just gotta
anywhere.
You got to change up the scenery first.
Yeah. Be right back.